Football Show is powered by the all-electric Chevy Silverado.
Welcome to the Pro Football Show presented by the Chevy Silverado. Check out the first ever all-electric Chevy Silverado. Visit Chevy.com to build your own Chevy Silverado or the Silverado EV. Week 10 of the NFL. We have a very special guest, Coach Ron Rivera.
Yes.
We're so excited.
Good to be here.
So excited. The boys were just buzzing knowing that you were coming in, so we're very happy to have you talking ball.
He's got his computer.
I know.
Yeah, I was gonna say first laptop we've had.
I tell you, Josh, he wouldn't stop about being prepared. So I said, well, okay. I started doing stuff. I got notes, the whole thing.
I love it.
He was killing me. And I walk in and just find out you guys just shoot from the hip.
Yeah. So is it analytical Ron today or Riverboat Ron?
No, it's Riverboat.
Okay, all right.
There we go.
I got a question for you to start off.
No, go ahead.
All right. So you're coaching a team. You're down 14. Mm-hmm. You score with about 4 minutes left.
Yep.
You go for 2 or 1?
No.
You don't go for 2.
No, you go for 1.
Oh, that's why you're not analytical Ron.
No.
That's why you're not analytical Ron.
I'm going to show you. I got a bunch of notes. I got more notes, believe it or not.
More notes.
I got more notes.
He's pulling out the backpack.
Right. Well, one of the things I had was one of the analytical guys that I'm working with.
Okay.
I had him study it and find out for me.
Okay.
How many times is that successful?
Yeah.
If you go for 2, get it, okay, and then kick the extra point.
I know that Mike Vrabel did it and beat the Dolphins on Monday Night Football last year.
How long ago was that?
Let's hear him out. Let's just hear him out. Let's just hear him out.
No, I got to find it though. But I'm going to tell you right. It's funny. It's funny because the truth of the matter is, it's only happened one time.
Okay.
In the last couple of years.
Okay, and it worked.
Yeah.
It worked.
Not for the Lions.
You want to know?
Right.
No, the Lions were. That was
a field goal. That was a field goal.
No, but
Yeah,
think about it though.
goal.
If it's happened once and it's been tried how many times?
Well,
that's
a
the
lot of
problem.
times the team doesn't get the second chance at it.
Right.
You know?
But what happens when you don't get the first chance?
You then get it the second time.
No, you don't. Because
You
the first
bite.
time, what happens? You lose the momentum you just created.
No.
That's about
Momentum, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Analytics cannot measure his momentum.
This backfired
They
on
cannot.
me.
They cannot.
Yeah.
They can't. No.
Riverboat.
But see, that's the problem with analytics is analytics is just a suggestion.
Okay.
Everybody gets caught saying, but the numbers don't tell you what happens when you don't do it.
Right.
They don't.
That when you don't get it, the shit that kind of happens
Correct.
subconsciously.
And
in
now
your
your
head.
players, it gets in your players' head. Momentum changes, and that's
I got the
truth.
nuclear option
No.
to get me out of this argument. I'm not going to hit it.
You have to. You
No,
have
I'm
to.
not.
No, I'm waiting on it. Go ahead.
No, you have to.
No.
Well, you don't like the analytics in that. You're sitting next to me right now. You're not on a sideline.
Oh.
Wow, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. And I'm going to tell you, it was probably a result of me trusting analytics too much.
Yeah, it's true. Analytical Ron. Riverboat Ron is the one I love.
Yes.
Should we,
6
let's
for
just
20, 30%.
let's stay in the whole show.
Oh, there it is. All right.
Stay in the whole show.
We're all standing.
The whole show, big cat.
That was so
great.
good.
That backfired.
But
You brought up the backpack.
the truth of the matter is, analytics, it's
And he's
great,
still standing.
but it's a suggestion.
Yeah.
This tells you that if you do this and you complete it and you do get it, you're going to win.
Yeah.
Okay? We were at one point, when I had Cam Newton, we were like 97% on 4th downs. Okay? So one time I didn't have Cam in the game. I went with Kyle Allen, and we didn't get it.
Yeah.
And somebody said, what happened? I said, 3 more inches and about 55 pounds.
Yeah, right.
That was the difference in size and weight of the two quarterbacks.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, just because the analytics say it doesn't mean it's necessarily going to happen. And what if you're that one time? If it's 1 out of 10, you don't get it, and you're the one time. You never know when that's going to happen.
Agree to disagree, I
I feel like I
guess.
have to stand.
I feel like it makes me want to run through a wall.
Man.
Coach, he asks every coach this, and
He does.
you are the only one
weeks
I
in a
feel like
row.
that might shut it
Bruce
down.
Arians got me too. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's-
I'm on a cold streak.
He's an old school.
Yeah.
Again, old school.
Yeah.
That's what happened. You get a few of the older guys show up.
Yeah.
We kind of tell you how we feel.
I know. I need.
I love it.
See, what I love is he remembers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at Will. Look at he's
Yeah. No, Will. We've had these conversations.
This could have went any better.
I get excited.
I like that. I like that
No,
excitement.
we want this. It's just what's happened is that you've given Will a lot of confidence now because they argue about all of this, and the fact that you stood up, now he's going to stand up.
Let's
for you
talk
forever.
about who did better last week.
Okay, I will say, Dan is on a heat, like a little bit of a heater right now, a little bit.
Will was 7-8. I'm back in first place.
You are.
So let's.
Only
You're
you're in
it's a
first-
big week this week. It's a big week this week.
He's in first place by 1 game. He's 69-65-3. You're 68-65-3.
I want your picks, by the way, next week, even though you're not going to be here because you're having a baby.
Okay,
I want
got
your
that.
picks.
I got you.
I want your picks.
I got you. I'll get him to you. I'll give you my pass.
Okay. All right.
Give him.
My I don't know pick of the week as well.
Who has a baby during football season?
I know.
That's really bad
And you know
planning.
what?
Real selfish.
And you
Really
know
bad
what?
planning.
Somewhere along the line, you're supposed to plan it out. You should know better.
Yes.
Yeah.
My three kids were born in May and June.
The
My
best,
son was born on Super Bowl Sunday.
And the best time to conceive is right after training.
Yeah. There you go.
During training camp.
Right.
So then you have the option of either getting out of training camp, but also, hey,
No.
sweetheart, I got to go play football.
See,
That's the sweet spot.
Both my kids were born in May, just before we went into training.
Yeah.
So I was
Yeah.
there for a
Yeah.
month, and then I had to go to work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Use
same.
your brain next time.
I know.
Yeah.
I tried. We tried. Sometimes you just can't plan it the way you want.
But you still have to give your picks, regardless.
I will. I'll give my
Congratulations
picks.
Yes.
for the baby, but also give Dan your picks.
Yes. Yes.
All right, let's get right into the storyline games of the week presented by the Chevy Silverado. We'll start with the 49ers at the Bucs. Will the 49ers -6? They're coming off of a bye. The Bucs take the loss to the Chiefs in overtime on Monday Night Football. Who are you leaning with this week?
Look, Coach Rivera was saying it. He realizes that we shoot from the hip. The 49ers, Trump won the election. I think you got to look at 49ers -6 here.
Because of Bosa?
Because of Bosa. Maybe you look at a prop bet over 1.5 sacks. I like the Niners here. I like them coming off a bye week. And I think they'll get rolling here.
That's
later in year.
that's the big thing. And Coach, you can tell us how important it is. But the bye week and a coaching staff like Kyle Shanahan, I'm always going to lean towards a team that is coached well off a bye week, where they can, self-scout, figure some things out, figure out their weaknesses, come out fresh. And the Bucs are playing. They've lost 2 in a row. It might even be more than that, but they're playing tough football. Like Baker keeps them in every game, and I'm shocked with how competent their offense has looked without Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. That's a testament to Baker. That's a testament to Liam Cohen, their offensive coordinator. The big thing though is, without Mike Evans, without Chris Godwin, you've seen Cade Otton kind of explode here, and they're getting him open. Fred Warner's a really good linebacker.
Oh, yeah.
And Fred Warner is...
And McCaffrey's coming back.
Yeah, McCaffrey might be coming back. So, Coach, off a bye, what's like the mindset where it's like, hey, we have a refresh? What happens during a bye week for a team from a coaching perspective?
Well, from a coaching perspective, you get an opportunity to go back and look at things that you've struggled with and get those things corrected. All right, the things that you're doing really well, you're going to emphasize those things as a big part of your game planning going forward. I like the opportunity for these guys because, again, they're in a division, okay, that's very winnable.
Yep.
Nobody's pulled away, so he knows he's right in it. If they get to the one game at a time mentality and do look at it that way, I think Kyle Shanahan and his guys are ready to play.
Yeah.
How do bye weeks for you change, like during your career? Like, say you're winning in the season and you have a bye week, or you're losing in a season.
I know. See, I've winning and going to bye sometimes. You love the momentum. You want to keep working. You want to keep playing.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. Sometimes I think sometimes a little bit of a detriment. But again, it is about keeping that momentum. And if you can do it while you're practicing, have a couple of good days, let the guys get away, come, and then bring them back. Start off fast. I think it could be a real good thing, especially for a team like the 49ers who need the bye because of the injuries.
Yeah, they're so banged up. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
But the thing that one thing that I will say that you really saw was how important Christian McCaffrey was or is to the 49ers, because again, you don't have that back that can not only just run the football inside and outside, okay, but he's a threat when he's a receiver.
Yeah.
And that's one of the big things that hurt them, because 49ers struggled in the red zone without Christian.
And it is a great point, because Jordan Mason has been playing great, but I think we forget, especially a Kyle Shanahan offense, where that's the Shanahan motto, is that you put in a running back and they're going to look good. You forget that Christian McCaffrey is that special talent, where it's like Jordan Mason can have 100 yards, but what would Christian McCaffrey have done? Would it have been 150? You know what I mean? Like he's just such.
And what the offense looks like.
Right,
Coming
he's
out of
such
the
a next
backfield.
level player.
Like you're saying in the red zone too. Like Niners have been shaking the red zone.
Absolutely.
I'm sure McCaffrey.
Well, and the big thing too is you get a guy like that and you move him outside.
Right.
Now who's covering him? As soon as it's a backer, hey, let's go. You know, and Cam Newton did that one year when he motioned him out, and all of a sudden, we're playing Green Bay and goes, hey, watch the stick. And he goes, oh, you watch film?
Yeah, that was the best. I remember that.
Remember that?
Yeah, he's like, you're not going to be able to stop it.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
And he's a special talent.
Yeah.
Dan, who are you taking?
I'm taking the Niners.
Taking the Niners.
Yes.
Okay. Let's move to Sunday Night Football. The Lions at the Texans. The Lions -3.5. They beat the Packers last week. The Texans coming off that tough loss to the Jets. Dan, what are you thinking about these Lions?
The Lions are a juggernaut. The Lions cannot be stopped. Every single week they answer the bell. Even they've had everything. They went to Minnesota, division game, beat the Vikings, have a little letdown spot, or what could have been a letdown spot with the Titans, handle business easily, then go on the road to Packers. Everyone's like, oh, Jared Goff outside, no problem again. They're just on a roll. And with all that said, I'm taking the Texans.
There is a note here that, I mean, Tom did say they covered the spread in all 7 of their wins.
Why are you going Texans? I got to know because I do. I'm
like,
with you. It's like
okay. So I think Nico Collins is going to play. That is huge. You saw what that offense looked like without Nico Collins, and it fell off a cliff. I think they have a mini bye in the fact they played on Thursday Night Football. The Texans' defense is very, very good. I don't know if they can win this game. I think they're going to be able to keep it close. And this might just be stupid because I feel like I've picked against the Lions every single week against the spread, and I just keep looking like
they haven't.
Yeah,
the last 7 games on the road, they are 7-0.
They have everything. You can't stop them. I don't know. Maybe the Texans get into this game and they're like, hey, we're going to run the ball and try to play keep a little bit. But the one thing I'll say about the Lions is their defense isn't. It's not crushing it. They've obviously been winning every single game. The Titans, they give up a lot of yards to the Titans. The Vikings had a decent game against them. Packers, another one where it's like the Packers got a ton of yards. They had a lot of penalties. So I know that it's about keeping the score down, and yards don't do anything for you when it comes to winning and losing. But I do think the Texans can stay in this game. And the Texans kind of need it. Like they look bad on Thursday Night Football. They got to kind of assert themselves as a real deal Super Bowl contender.
A little extra rest too.
Yep.
Their defense is solid, but they're not strong. Shout out to boy Tom, 30th in the red zone on red zone defense. The Lions are so good. You look at their last 5 games, 196 points. They're scoring about 40 points per game. Only 95 points allowed. Yeah, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the duck reproductive system, but this is like a pack of male ducks on top of a female, the way they treat teams. I think that they would beat the Chiefs by a couple touchdowns right now.
You made the same face, Coach.
They do. They bully teams.
Yeah.
They bully teams. And again, it's like you bring up the Titans. They're hanging 50 plus on the Titans.
I know.
The Vikings, that's a good defense. They're hanging 30 plus on the Vikings. I just don't think there's anybody that's stopping the Lions. So I'm going with the Lions.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going with the Lions.
Smart.
Coach, did you ever think you'd be talking football and duck reproductive?
No.
Coach,
You've seen it.
Well, I mean, maybe the answer is you can't, but how do you stop the Lions' offense? They have everything.
I like what you said. You play possession football. You keep their offense off the field. You protect the football. You grind it out.
Yeah.
Okay. Take away their ability to run the football, make them one-dimensional, put it all on Jared Goff. Now, Jared Goff has shown he's been a very complete quarterback this year. He's done a great job, not just throwing the ball, handing the ball up, but heck, he goes out and catches a touchdown pass himself.
That's right.
But he's doing a hell of a job. He really is. The thing that I like about what they do is they're so multidimensional as a football team. They run it well. They throw it well. They use different people to run it.
Yep.
Receivers are part of that running game as well. I think you're starting to see that this offense is really difficult. So to me, the key is keeping them off the field.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to grind it out. And if they can run the ball successfully, protect the football, again, because the Lions are very opportunistic as well as the defense because of the takeaways. They've done a nice job creating takeaways in positive scoring position for their offense as well.
Yeah. It feels like the Lions. They're a complete team. Their special teams is great. Like that Titans game, they just had short field after short field. So, I'm an idiot. I'm taking the Texans.
Not to bring up the argument from the beginning of the show, but Coach, we know Dan Campbell likes to take a lot of those risks, and we've seen it backfire a little bit. But what do you see from Dan Campbell in those situations?
He's being true to form.
Yes.
And as long as he's true to form, as long as he does those things and shows his players,
There you go,
I'm
Dan.
back.
and he shows his players he believes in them, he'll do what he does.
Yes.
I mean, it's funny because you go back to the playoff game.
Yes.
Okay, he could have made it a 3-score game, but he also could have put the dagger in.
Yes.
Turned it. Okay, and it didn't. It backfired.
But that was
But that's what got them there.
Yes, thank you. So I'm back because that was my whole point. We had this argument, and I was like,
That's the one pivotal moment that's created all of this.
Yeah, if you're a coach like Dan Campbell, you have set the expectation with your team that we're going for it on fourth downs. You saw it against the Packers. They went for it on 4th and 1 twice, scored a touchdown on both plays. Going into the game, they know that, hey, when it's 3rd and short, we're still going for it on 4th. So you set everything up. It never feels with Dan Campbell, it never feels like a rash decision where he's like, shit, yeah, I guess we'll go for it. It's like, no, we're going for it.
He's decisive.
Right.
And the players look at that. The players go, if you hem and haw, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Okay, because now all of a sudden it's like, oh, he's not sure. But you go right at, hey guys, we're going, let's go. I mean, you do those types of things, the players feed off of that.
Yep.
Okay, and I'll say I've unfortunately let myself get talked out of it a couple of times.
Yeah.
And to me personally, it backfired.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
because the players feel it. They love the fact that you believe in them.
so bad.
And
You're so backed in.
And the
So
key
back.
the key is though is again, if it doesn't work, do like Dan did. Step up and say, well, that was my decision.
Yeah, right. He took ownership.
As soon as he did that, his players bought in.
Yeah.
Okay, and I know it was the last game of the year, but you know what? Look at them now. Look
Yeah.
at what they're doing, and he's staying true to form. That's huge for a coach.
Yeah.
That was big.
back.
That was big for
I'm
pivotal
back.
moment for
I'm
this
back.
argument, Coach.
So back.
All right, let's go to Jerry's Picking Zoo, presented by Stella Blue Coffee. Football season is back. Obviously, the cold weather and Stella Blue's coffee, new maple pumpkin pie and apple crumb cake blends are the ultimate game day companions. They're available in both ground coffee and K-Cup varieties. Grab Stella Blue's limited edition fall flavors today at StellaBlueCoffee.com. Use promo code football to enjoy 20% off any order of $25 or more. And every purchase helps save homeless pets, which, Coach, I know is dear to your
Yes.
heart, you
Yeah.
and your
Very
wife.
dear, very dear.
Yes, you guys have a rescue as well. So we love Stella Blue. Let's run the video out. Jerry, who's picking today?
Leia, every animal we had has gone 1-0.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Something to keep an eye on.
All right, welcome back. Pro Football Show, Week 10. Jerry's Picking Zoo, and she's back. The Queen has arrived. The Queen is back. She won last week. Leia is 1-0, undefeated, never lost. We got my Steelers. We got the Steelers and Russie traveling to Washington to take on Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. This is going to be electric. Kelsey, can you come over here for a second? I'm going to put these treats down. We got to pick Leia up. She's so pretty today, my queen. We got one on Washington, and look at this one. It's going to go on the Steelers, okay? It's going to go on the Steelers, right? Look at this. Okay, get her down. Get her down. She's going to go. Go. Boom, it's the Steelers. Boom. Leia, undefeated, never lost, 1-0. She probably will go 2-0. She picked the right team. It's always been the Steelers. Book it. We'll be back next week.
Love it. 1-0
Love it.
dog.
Yeah, 1-0.
dog.
Okay.
1-0 dog.
So the game of the week, like we mentioned, the Steelers at the Commanders, presented by the Chevy Silverado. The Commanders -3. Jerry, I'll let you start. I know that the Steelers coming off of a bye. How you feeling?
Tomlin really good off the bye. This team is good. And I know people say they haven't played the best of teams yet. The Commanders haven't played the best of teams yet. Tomlin against rookie quarterbacks. I love the matchup. Listen, Jaden Daniels, he's really good. But this is his toughest test to date. And I think Mr. Rivera could attest to this. Tomlin knows how to disrupt rookie quarterbacks, and I think he's going to do a good job. The defense is playing really, really good. They give up some yards, but they give up like 14 points a game right now, 15 points a game. Commanders, if they want to win this game, they're going to have to put up 25.
Coach, what do you think about the matchup?
You know, the tough thing for the Commanders is their defense really hasn't played as well as it needs to. Okay, a lot of good things have happened to them, especially on the offensive side because of Jaden. Jaden's really controlled the pace and tempo of the game. He sets the pace and tempo for his entire team, defense included. If their defense can step up, can stop the run, okay, and force Russell Wilson to make plays to win the game, they've got a good chance. But right now, I don't think that's something that they're capable of doing. But defensively, they rise to the occasion. This is going to be a really close game. If not, this game could be a walkaway in terms of time of possession, total rushing yards, total offensive yards for Pittsburgh. So, I love Pittsburgh. I really do. I think Mike Tomlin is one of the really great coaches in this league. He's a mastermind, in my opinion, in sports psychology. I mean, the way he works his guys, gets his guys fired up, and get them ready to play, especially coming off a bye. This is kind of a tough game, I think, for Washington.
Dan, the Commanders -3.
Yeah, so Jerry said it, but Mike Tomlin 26-6 straight up against rookie quarterbacks in his career. So that it backs it up. He does well against a rookie quarterback. This is a fascinating game to me because it's kind of a I don't want to say measuring stick, but it's we're going to figure out which unit is for real. And I think both the Steelers defense and the Commanders offense are very good. But if you look, the Steelers defense has not played the best of quarterbacks. You know, they played a rookie in Bo Nix. They played Kirk Cousins on his first game back, Anthony Richardson, Justin Herbert, who was banged up. And then on the flip side, the Commanders have not played great defense. This is the best defense they're going to play. I'm going to go with Mike Tomlin off a bye against a rookie quarterback. But this is one of those games where, like, when the winner of this game, I'm going to walk away from and be like, that's, eye-opening. Like, now we're thinking Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I really think that. Like, if the Commanders come out and dominate the Steelers' defense, I'm going to be thinking of them as they can win the Super Bowl this year. If the Steelers come out and dominate the Commanders' offense, that's a team that I'm now looking at being like, they are a threat in the AFC. So I love this game. It's going to be awesome.
But the big thing you also got to say, though, and you always have to be careful right now for the Commanders just because the defense has not played as well as it needs to play.
But they're starting to get a little bit more competent. They're raising the floor. But yeah, you're right. And then they obviously made a big pickup with Lattimore, who might not play because he's got a hamstring, but that's big.
But that's big for him because, again, that's one of the things that they do feel they do need to shore up is the secondary. I do think that was a terrific move. They did a great job adding to their defense.
Yep.
To probably the one part of their team that needed to be improved. The secondary, I think Lattimore is a legitimate guy. If he does play, that's going to be a big, I think, bonus for them. The players will feed off the energy that they get for having a guy like him on the field. Again, my big one concern is that. But I will say this, and somebody that deserves a lot of credit this year has been Cliff Kingsbury.
Yes.
Cliff has done a tremendous job. And, again, you go back to the analytics, one of the things he's done very well is what you're supposed to do with a rookie quarterback. Get the ball out of his hands quickly. Use play action pass. Create short throws so that he's not hit by the opponent pass rush. And the guy that's been hit the less, or one of the guys, has been Jaden all season.
11 for 11 on fourth down, the Commanders this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you guys. I think the Steelers get this one. I think it's going to come down to the fourth quarter. I don't think it's as much Tomlin on rookie quarterbacks as it will be just this defense getting after him. Jane's going to have to throw the ball because they're great at stopping the run. I think they will do that. The Ravens proved that their good run defense was able to do that. I think it comes down to the wire, and I like the Steelers here. Their defense is elite. A little sussy for Russie. I think Art's going to call a great game. I think he's doing a great job with that offense. And, I like the Steelers here.
Art is incredible this year.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. I'm a big fan of Arthur.
Yeah.
I love the way he takes command of a game by running the ball downhill and then going play action pass.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I really think Russell Wilson does very well is he is a good play action passer.
Yep.
He doesn't mind turning his back to the defense. Some quarterbacks struggle when they have to fake that ball and then turn around and find the safeties. Russell, he does that very well. So again, Arthur Smith has done a tremendous job, I think, with both those with the young quarterback and with Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Jerry's been very high on Russell Wilson from the very beginning, right?
Yeah. I mean,
correct.
I've been very high on him since he got picked up by the Steelers.
And I'll say, I really do like the way Mike Tomlin handled that whole situation. I really do. I think part of it was a little bit of messaging to Russell. Hey, dude, I'm in charge. And when I'm ready and believe you're ready to go, you'll play. And Russell fell in line. He did exactly what he's supposed to. He prepared. He helped the young quarterback. He helped Justin grow a little bit. But at the same time, he stayed engaged. His teammates saw him staying engaged. That spoke volumes to his teammates. And I think, again, that was all because of what Coach Tomlin did.
Yeah, he's an incredible coach. I should never doubt him ever again because I thought it was weird that they changed to Russell Wilson as a 4-2 team. He was right. That offense has looked a lot different.
Right.
Jerry, this has to give you a lot of confidence.
It does. I mean,
a smile.
He's got that real genuine.
Well, you know what it is.
Smile.
I golfed with TJ Watt, who happens to be a friend, Ron, right? And we're golfing and we're playing, and he's playing great. I'm playing pretty good. And I looked over to him and I said, TJ, how real is this team? And he said, Jerry, he says, this is the best team this year since he's got drafted.
Wow.
Really?
And he said, if there's a year, it's going to be our window is this year, next year, because guys are getting older.
Yeah.
Cam Hayward, Minka's getting older. You know what I mean? So this 2-year window is really big with Russ at quarterback.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
And
Nice little intel.
Yeah.
Good intel.
Good intel.
He says.
Yeah. Let's go to the playbook picks presented by DraftKings. What's better than watching football on the weekend? Watching football on the weekend with the DraftKings Sportsbook app in your hands, and our partner at DraftKings is hooking up all new customers who bet $5. You instantly get $200 in bonus bets. Follow all of us and your favorite Barstool personality picks on the Barstool betting group. Again, new customers use promo code PRO, P-R-O, bet just $5 on any wager and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code PRO, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. All right, Dan, as always, your playbook pick, Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
Tough one last week for you, I know.
Terrible.
Playing the Patriots, the Bears -6, though.
All right, so I'm taking the Bears. They're better than the Patriots, but I have a question for Coach because you know this market. You know, you played here, you coached here. The seat is hot on Matt Eberflus right now, and it feels like the cracks have been showing for the last couple of weeks. It started with the Hail Mary. Guys were talking afterwards, you know, the Tyreek Stevenson thing. And then against the Cardinals, there was a little bit of quit factor going on where it's like the defense got gashed, the end of the first half, that big run. How do you get off the mat when the seat gets that hot and everyone's like, you know, all the outside noise? How do you get off the mat and put together a winning game?
Also, to add to that, but like one of your best receiver is real gray when comparing Justin Fields and Caleb Williams.
Yeah, the DJ Moore stuff is
hey,
weird.
has he lost the locker room? I wouldn't say that, but also comparing the two, like.
Right. Well, you know, Will, I mean, to me, the big thing, and you've been in that locker room where the biggest thing that has to happen is you've got to focus in on one thing at a time, the most important thing, not the interesting stuff. All the talk, all the noise outside, that's interesting, okay, but what's really important is the guys in the locker room. We've got to stay together. We've got to come together. We've got to circle the wagon. One of the things that Mike Dicker used to do always was he would always come in and he would always create something that we could rally against, okay? One thing. It didn't matter who it was, but it was one thing. Guys, in 3 weeks, we play Green Bay. We're going to win the next two because I want all the momentum. We're going to go out and we're going to kick their ass because we're going to have all this momentum. So let's roll. And now all of a sudden it's like, okay, we'll take them one at a time so that when we get to that third game, we're ready to go. So you create this thing for the guys that tells them, let's focus in on the one thing that we can control. And that's playing this game, playing to the best of ability and going out and winning this game, preparing for the next thing.
So how would it work when Mike Ditka comes in and says, here's the one thing we got to work for, and then you go into your position groups and Buddy Ryan's like, all right, we're playing to show Mike Ditka wrong?
You know what? When it came to winning football games, I don't think there was anything about showing anybody anything wrong. I will say that's the one thing they were always together, that was about winning, winning football.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say that Buddy always did was it was always about us.
Yeah.
The defense. And the guys really rallied about that, and it was, hey, we're going to take care of our business. We're going to do our thing. We're not going to be the reason.
Right.
And that's the one thing Buddy did not want was it to be the reason.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that right now.
And it feels like the Bears need something like that, where it's like both sides need to say, because the defense played well for the start of the season. You saw the cracks this past week against Arizona, and it's like we gotta pick it back up.
Right, and I think that was kind of Buddy's rallying cry for us.
Yeah. Was
that, guys, we are not going to be the reason. We're going to carry our end of the bargain. Let's go out and do our thing, and let's see what happens.
Yeah.
You know, so again, so that there is no division, it's always about, hey, it's about us. Let's take care of our business for all three phases, do the things they're supposed to. We win football games.
Yeah.
I'm going Patriots. I'm going Patriots with the points. I can see the Bears winning the game. I think
It's
6
not-
is a lot.
listen,
and I think Drake May's played pretty well recently.
This is one of those games where it's like, if the Bears want to salvage this season, knowing what's coming up in the entire NFC North gauntlet, like they have to come out and have a resounding win. Because if they play with their food at all here, the Patriots, you're right, Drake May's played well. Like it's not.
And the Patriots, like
not a walk in the
they
park.
know they know where they're at. It's not like there's some hot seat dilemma going on. Like the Bears are kind of in it right now.
I do think
and
the
there's a
Bears-
lot of noise around the building, and you know it.
Yeah.
As much as you want to make it about one thing, like the noise can creep in certain spots, especially at certain pockets of the locker room.
Yeah.
And you raised a great point. Strength of schedule.
Yeah.
From this point on, the Bears have the toughest strength of schedule, .632 winning percentage.
Yeah.
Of who they're playing.
Yeah, we play every good team after this, so it's like this. You gotta win this game.
And this is what you've been saying for the last few weeks too, Dan, is that you need these wins to give that momentum, and it's not worked out so far.
It's not worked out. No.
Yeah, the Cardinals one was tough.
The Cardinals game was worse for me as a fan than the Commanders
Really?
game. Yes.
Just because it was so ugly?
The Commanders game was a punch in the stomach. Like, how did that happen? But you're like, okay, we were one play away from winning like a game that we never should have won. The Cardinals game, it felt like there was, like I said, the quit factor, and that's like soul sucking.
Right.
Okay, Will, your playbook pick. Now, on the sheet, it says that you're doing the Germany game, the Giants at the Panthers, but you told me that you're not.
Yeah, I'm doing something a little different. My playbook pick this week is going to be Big Cat. I feel like this game right here is an absolute, as he would refer to, like a sicko game.
Yeah.
Thank God it's on international soil, but my
okay.
playbook pick is just going to solely be Big Cat because I feel like he's going to have the answer for this game.
Oh, okay.
Because it's Giants 2-7, Panthers 2-7. This is a brutal game.
It's a brutal game.
So
I'm going to lean on my playbook
So it's
pick,
whatever
which is
he.
Dan Katz.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Dan Katz.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Giants
Big
minus
Cat.
6.5 in Germany.
I am going to take the Giants, and here's why. This game is gross. The Giants' defense is still good. They actually lead the league in sacks. I think they'll be able to get after Bryce Young. And the one thing that I saw last week that was different for the Giants, I think the Giants are at a spot now where they know what they have. Daniel Jones is not going to be the quarterback of the future, okay? They've done the thing. It's just not going to work out. And what you saw last week was Brian Daboll kind of went back to the Daniel Jones 2 years ago, where it was a lot more running Daniel Jones, running the football, QB options, where it's not having him pass a ton of times. And they went away from that a little bit because they were trying to protect him more. I think they're just like, you know what, let's try to win a football game. Let's let Daniel Jones go out and run. And he's not going to be a long-term solution, but let's try to win a football game today. So I'm going to take the Giants because I think their defense is the best unit in this game. But man, is it a gross game.
There we go. There's my playbook pick.
That's your playbook pick?
Giants minus 6.5.
I mean, it's a gross game.
It's a gross game. 2-7 teams.
How much did you hate having to go international for some of these games?
I loved international.
You did?
No, because to me it was always now it's just us.
Okay.
We're traveling together. Let's do let's do our thing. Let's go out and let's play together. I mean, because you get to rally around it.
Yeah.
And that's what I've always loved doing, was rallying around something specific. And hey, guys, we're going to foreign soil. Let's focus in on us. Let's take care of us. I think that's important. I do. I think it'll be a good one. This game, I don't disagree. It looks ugly on numbers because when you look at it, you're playing against one of the defenses that's almost 32nd in everything.
Yeah,
32nd
Panthers,
total
yeah.
yardage, 32nd in rushing yards allowed, 32nd on third downs. I mean, it's not a good look. I don't disagree with what you said about Daboll doing exactly that.
Yeah.
I really do think he's going back to that formula because that's when Daniel Jones, in my opinion, is at his best.
Yep.
When he's moving around, he's creating, he's making things happen. Okay, and if he protects the football, that's one of the knocks on Daniel's always been he turns the football over at the most inopportune moment. But when he's moving in the pocket and extending plays, he's creating downfield. And if he doesn't have anything downfield, guess what he does?
He just goes.
He runs, and he runs very well. He runs well for a quarterback. I think this is probably the best thing for them is to do those types of offensive plays where you give your quarterback the option of running or throwing.
Yeah. So I mean, it's going to be a gross game, but I do think the Giants are like, I know it's crazy to say, but I think they're a little bit better than 2-7 in their record. And the Panthers, like even that game against the Saints dominated that game in terms of like yardage and all these things.
Yeah.
Saints are just snake bitten right now.
Yeah, Saints are done.
Let's move to the Fireball Rapid Fire Picks of the Week. Will, go ahead and take that shot. This Rapid Fire Pick segment is presented by Fireball Whiskey. So many things make football great, but the best thing is kicking the living shit out of your rival, and there's absolutely no better feeling as an athlete or fan or a coach. This week, we've got the Bengals in Baltimore in an AFC North battle, and Fireball Whiskey is here to give you a spark to ignite that rivalry all season long. Grab your football buddy, buy around, and reignite that rivalry flame. I loved that. The coach thought that was very funny that you were taking the shot. This is,
I thought it was hilarious.
it's just a whole different world here at Barstool Sports. Okay, Coach. So what we do is we just rapid fire through these. If you want to talk about a specific game, obviously you're more than welcome to. We'll start with the Falcons at the Saints. The Falcons minus 3.5.
I think the Saints are done. They shipped off Lattimore. You don't think so? Kirk Cousins. I like Atlanta in this game minus 3 to cover.
Dan hates it.
I know he does.
Interim head coach. Darren Rizzi, been doing some searching on him. He sounds like the perfect guy to go win one football game. I don't think he's going to win 2 football games, but he might win 1 football game.
Because again, that's up and down. You can't fully buy into, hey, an interim head coach is in, they're going to win the football game.
Yeah, no. So I looked into it. First thing he did was change the layout of the locker room. Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Just change out the layout of the locker room. I guess the position groups weren't sitting together.
He's there, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a special teams coordinator?
Yeah, special teams coordinator. Also,
They do love him there.
And they love him. Dan Campbell is a mentor of his. He talked to Dan Campbell on the phone. He said he had a long talk with Dan Campbell. And then Darren Rizzi, he said, I can't promise a lot. I can promise passion, and I can promise fight.
I mean, that's.
I think you can win a football game with passion and fight. Next week, probably not. Passion
But for
and fight
one
can
game,
win
one surge, get behind this vision, get behind this
If you
voice.
can maintain that for 4 quarters, you'll win the
Yes,
game. You really
yes.
will. But somewhere along the lines, when you get hit in the mouth and
Will the passion and
they
fight
don't
be
come
there?
back,
Yeah.
guess what happens?
Yeah.
Now does it come back? That's the key. So to me, if they can sustain it for 4 quarters, they can win.
Yeah.
And they can build some momentum. They've got enough talent. They really do. Offensively, look at what they do. I mean, they have a chance to move the football. They showed you they have a chance to move, and they just didn't put it in the end zone.
Yep.
You've got to get the football in the end zone. That's probably one of the most important things that the Saints have got to do as an offense.
Yeah, also, I have one other quote. Foster Moreau said, for those of you that know Darren Rizzi, he's an unbelievable leader of men.
You've swayed me.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you got
And
to
Saints. And
Switch that up, Tom. I want the
couldn't figure
Saints.
out-
Give me the Saints.
I couldn't figure out if he wrestled growing up, but he's got fucked up ears.
He might.
He
Yeah,
does,
who
he
knows?
does.
Who knows?
He's got, they're like weird. They're like low hanging. I don't know. I just
Are they like
the
the
whole
cauliflower
thing.
ears?
No, they're
They're
like.
just-
I'll show you. His ears are weird.
Also,
that matters.
Rizzi is a
that
kind of
matters.
is a name too.
No
I mean,
doubt.
that's-
Put
No
that
doubt.
in your analytics file.
He's got juice.
Well, wait, so we just talked about things that analysts can't measure. They don't measure the coach's ears.
Look at that. Those are messed up ears. That's messed.
Let's
Those
take
are
a
messed
look.
up
Let's take a
ears.
But it doesn't
Those
show
are
up in the
those are-
analytics
But those are just his genetic
Something
ears.
about his ears.
So,
yeah.
he got it from his mom.
I
and
don't
dad.
want a pretty guy. I want a guy who's got messed up ears.
Yeah.
Coach, these are things that really do come into a lot. I mean, the betting, like with the interim head coach, I don't know if Dan's ever gone against an interim
No,
head
you
coach. in his
can't.
first
Well,
game.
every
In
now and
Foster
then I will.
Moreau,
Yeah,
he was with
Leader
us
of
at
men.
Bisaccia.
Yeah, every now and then I will. It's just like, is it the guy who, especially a special teams guy? I like when it's a special teams guy because usually that's a guy who like they got all the dogs. You know, they got the guys at the end of the roster.
Yep.
They're a fighter. So yeah, Darren Rizzi. Let's
The
go win a
10,
football
the
game.
10 days that I was there, every time we went into a special teams meeting, he had guys wearing jerseys for plays that they made in practice. Like he's got a lot of juice in that building. So you're right, and
Yeah.
you've completely swayed me.
Yeah.
There you go.
Did my
Okay.
research.
Dan, the Vikings at the Jags, the Vikings minus 4.5.
This might be Mac Jones. Trevor Lawrence has a shoulder injury.
Yikes.
I'll take the Vikings. I don't like this game. The Vikings are a very good team. Last week, they had a couple games in a row where the Rams felt like they went up and down the field on them. The week before that, it was the Lions. Last week, the Colts never got into the red zone. So you could see that they kind of corrected some things. I'm going to take the Vikings. I don't love this game, though. I just think that Justin Jefferson is just too good, and Sam Darnold's playing good ball.
Coach, what do you think about the matchup?
I really like Minnesota just because, again, I like the quarterback. I really do. I mean, I don't think Kevin O'Connell's got enough credit for what he's done with
Agreed.
Sam Darnold. He really has done a great job getting this young man to believe in himself again and go out and play the type of football he's capable of. I mean, this is what we saw when he was going through the draft. I mean, this was it. Everybody thought, God, this guy's going to come in and he'll be one of those guys that will grow into this role. Well, he found a head coach, a coordinator, who knows how to work with guys, who knows how to instill confidence, and that's what you've seen. He did it with Kirk Cousins, a guy that played extremely well under him. Now you got another guy that's come in and he's done the same thing. I also like the fact that they do run the ball well for the most part, but I do like what they're doing on defense. I think Brian Flores is a guy that's vastly underrated. I know he's gotten a lot of attention lately, and he should have. He's a very aggressive play caller. I like the things they do in terms of their coverages. There's some combination coverage stuff that he does I think is very, very good. And I think right now Jacksonville is just kind of trying to find their way. They're struggling an awful lot. Trevor Lawrence hasn't played to his past performances. And I think that's one of the things that's hurt them is this is a guy that so much has been put on him. They're 22nd in rushing, and running the ball is a big part of play action. And if you don't run the ball successfully early, the play action really isn't there. And Trevor, I think, is a guy that does live off of his play action. He's really good with it. He does find plays downfield, and he can extend the plays and get the ball downfield. But he's not playing up to that right now. And a big part of this has been, they're just not playing as well as they can. Defensively, my big concern for them, more so than anything else, is they're not very good against the pass.
Yeah.
They've struggled against it. They've allowed a lot of big plays, a lot of big yards. And what we've seen from Minnesota, Justin
Jefferson, yeah, he's the best receiver
that's
in
scary.
football.
That's scary right there.
Yeah.
Will?
No, I agree. You're talking about explosive plays too. Like to me, the Vikings, like Sam Darnold's playing with so much confidence. They're very balanced on offense. Flores, obviously, everybody knows the resume that he has. And I just think when you have an explosive weapon like Justin Jefferson and they're on the same page, Justin roots for him hard. I like the Vikings.
Yeah.
Okay, Will, the Bills at the Colts, the Bills -4. Is this an I don't know game?
No, I mean, it's a little bit of an I don't know game just because I thought that the Colts would go out and get one last week. The fact that they only put up 13 points, they struggled scoring when they, getting in the red zone, not getting in the red zone. I want to go Colts here because I like Flacco, but I just think the Bills, they're going to continue to be Buffalo. They're going to continue to be who they are. Josh Allen, that offense. The only thing I don't like is that the Bills are going, it's at Indianapolis.
Yeah. I'm going to go opposite. I'm going to take the Colts, and here's why. The Bills are in a weird. This actually goes to the next two games we're talking about. The Bills are in a weird scheduling spot where, big divisional game against the Dolphins last week where they essentially wrap up the AFC East because they're so far ahead. Next week, home against the Chiefs. Now you got to go to Indy. Indy's back against the wall. They make the switch to Joe Flacco because they think they can get in the playoffs this year. That was a now move. If you think you can get in the playoffs, or if you think you can't get in the playoffs, you keep Anthony Richardson in. They say, hey, let's go with Joe Flacco. Let's make a playoff push. This is a game they have to have. I also think that was a bad matchup for the Colts last week in the fact that the Vikings blitz a lot, and Joe Flacco's up there in age, wasn't able to deal with the blitz. Bills don't blitz as like the Vikings blitz. I think it's going to be a tight game. I think the Colts offense is going to look better. I think it's going to be a tight game. Also, Bills, Keon Coleman banged up, Amari Cooper banged up. That's two big weapons that change how the Colts or the Bills can play offense.
Coach?
I like the idea of exactly what you said for the Colts, and that is, guys, we can win.
Right.
We can get ourselves into the playoffs. Nobody's running away with their division. Let's go out and play some football. Let's give ourselves a chance. Doing what you do when you do that as a head coach tells the other 52 guys, hey, guys, we can win. We got a guy that I believe can help us win. Let's go.
Right.
And so if they get behind that, I think that really that bodes well for them. But again, Buffalo, they have a kid named Josh Allen.
Yeah, he's so good.
Yeah, and in clutch situations, he's come through this year. He's played well for the most part, and I do like what he's done. I really do. I think they're doing a terrific job there offensively. Defensively, they're finding their balance now. They've played well. They're very aggressive. They're a team that works on taking the ball away, and they can be opportunistic if the opportunity does arise.
Yeah.
So are you sticking with the Bills?
I'm gonna go with the Bills. I think they start fast. I think they take away the running game of the Colts and make it one-dimensional. I'm gonna go with Buffalo.
Okay, Dan, you mentioned this game as well. The Broncos at the Chiefs -7.5, the Chiefs 8-0. Just keep rolling.
Yeah, I hate doing this. They have the Chiefs are 8-0. All credit to them, undefeated. They have the lowest point differential for an undefeated team at this point in the season ever. So it's like they're winning, but they're not winning. They're not blowing teams out.
Right.
The Broncos looked terrible against the Ravens. That was never a doubt. I expected that. I think they have to rally here, and I think the Chiefs, similar situation. Overtime game, Monday Night Football, Bills on deck. I know this is a division game. I don't think the Broncos are going to win this game, but I think they might keep it close. Monday Night Football to then Sunday, you can feel that, right? Like if you play a Monday Night Football game and then you have to come back and play a noon game on Sunday, that matters, doesn't it?
You feel
especially
a little
in overtime.
bit, but you ultimately you just get like you'll just have that extra day.
Okay.
You don't feel it a whole lot.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Yeah, and if there's one thing Andy Reid knows is his team. He knows his team. They played at home on Monday night. They're playing at home again. So that bodes very well for them. The guys are going to have to do a lot of traveling. They were able to go straight home, go to bed, get their rest, get themselves rejuvenated. Knowing Andy, he probably didn't have them come in at all. Late, if anything, late in the afternoon on Tuesday. So he's trying to get them rested up for it. If there's one guy that does concern me as far as Denver is concerned, it's Sean Payton.
Yeah.
He is a great tactician. I really think he does a great job with game planning. And then on the other side, you got Steve Spagnuolo.
He's so good.
You know, and Steve and I actually started together in the NFL. We were on Andy's original staff, and we shared an office at first when we first got there to Philadelphia. He's another guy that deserves a lot of credit.
Yeah.
I mean, for what they've been able to do. And like you said, they've won. They're undefeated, but they're barely winning. But that doesn't matter because I'll tell you right now, the big key to these guys is the way they've played as a team. Mm-hmm. All three elements are very complementary.
Yeah.
When they need something to happen on special teams, it happens. Offense goes up, does their thing, gets the points. Defense gets the ball back. I mean, this team is really put together very, very well. It's scary just how good they are right now and how they've been able to plug guys in when they've lost guys.
Yeah, their defense is good. I might be stupid for doing this, yeah, but it's it's obviously against spreads 7.5. But I just think
the only thing I worry about is the Chiefs defense versus a Bo Nix.
Yeah, and listen, you're never as bad as
I'm saying in the way to where I can see. Yeah. I'm high on Bo Nix, but I'm saying I feel like the Chiefs could cover here because their defense is so good, and I just don't know if Bo Nix and that offense is really there yet. Because if you look at the last 8 quarters against the Broncos, Mahomes has only had 1 touchdown. Like that, the Broncos defense has done a great job. Last year, they were able to get pressure on Mahomes while dropping 7-8 guys in the coverage and taking away Kayce. DeAndre's obviously added an extra element for Pat, because he went with 3 touchdowns this last week, but that's the only thing that kind of concerns me.
It makes sense. And I'm going off the theory that you're never as bad as you look the previous week, and that's kind of where I'm at with the Broncos. Like I don't think they might not be a playoff team, but you're just never as bad as a 41-10 game.
Yeah.
Well, no, and again, that was a special team that played.
Yeah, right. The Ravens are doing
they're very special
on
right now
that no one can stop.
And just to make sure I get my pick in there is nobody that wants the Chiefs to slow down and fail as much as myself. I am going the Broncos with the points.
Generational hater.
And to add to your question on the Monday Night Football and Coach Rivera, I'm sure you're privy to this too. It's like when you're playing on Thursday, as a player, if you're not injured or too banged up, you're excited because you're doing walkthroughs all week long. You're not putting the pads on whatsoever. On a Monday night game going to Sunday, that physical part of practice on Wednesday that you would have is kind of out the window. So if anything, you're kind of in better spirits because you're not going to really have a massive work day that week.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the Titans at the Chargers. The Chargers minus 7.5.
I'm taking the Titans. I thought they got themselves a win in OT. Coach Callahan, he gets a little emotional in the presser afterwards. I like the Titans. I think the defense plays well in this game. Obviously, the Chargers, they have a quality defense as well. But I like the Titans here, especially with the points. I think it's a lot of points. I'm rolling with the Titans, man.
Okay.
Mason's looked pretty good.
He has. I think the Chargers' defense is better than people are giving him credit for. And I love Jim Harbaugh. What he's done is given them a culture, and he's given them a game plan that every single week. It's like, if we do this, we win. The other big part of this game is the Titans. I don't think the Titans are as bad as 2-6. The Titans have the second worst special teams unit of all time. What was the worst?
Chargers.
Yeah, 2010.
Yeah.
Not your fault.
We were number 1 on offense, number 1 on defense.
Oh, wow.
It's insane. They went 9-7. Number 1 on offense, number 1 on defense. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring it up.
Damn,
I didn't mean to bring it up.
He didn't mean to bring it up. Who's number 1?
Well, I forgot. I mean, I was thinking. All right.
Like, wait for
maybe
your
I did mean to bring it. It's not his fault. He wasn't the special teams coordinator, but you were the number 1 defense.
Yeah.
I was doing my notes last night, and I saw that, and I was just like, oh, shit.
That gotta bring this
When can I stick the knife?
Yeah, right. That, you know what that was for? That was for you arguing off the top of the show.
But that's something when you look at, like,
no, it is.
That matters a lot. If you look at how that Chargers season went, they had games where they gave up 2 kick return touchdowns, a block punt, all this stuff. They were a really good team in 2010 that if a couple breaks go their way on special teams, they're in the playoffs and they're making noise. And I think that's what the Titan team they've been snake bitten like, where those are the type of plays. If a punt return happens, if a block punt, it changes the whole course of the game. And if you're a team like the Titans, you can't overcome those. You don't have enough to overcome those mistakes. So I'm going to take the Chargers.
But the Titans, too, like, they've been finding more of an identity offensively. Like, I feel like DeAndre going to the Chiefs have helped him out because obviously Calvin Ridley, they're feeding him a lot more. The run game is pretty good. I just think with 7.5, I think it stays close. I think the Chargers win. I do think the Titans cover. But I feel like the Titans have been figuring out some things. But to your point, you're absolutely right about the special teams unit because when something bad happens, it is very hard to overcome.
Yeah.
Coach.
Brian Callahan reminds me of Dan Campbell. He really does.
Yeah.
He's an emotional guy. He's very open. He speaks his mind. And the thing that I've started to see, like you said, looks like they are figuring things out. It looks like all of a sudden, oh, that's why Coach wants us to do this. Oh, this is why we do these things. Man, this makes sense to us now. And you look at some of the things. They're 12th in rushing, okay? They're 11th stopping the run.
Yeah, they're good defense.
To me, that's very important. Yeah, they're very good defense. They're number 1 in total yards. Okay, that's one thing people don't understand. And it's because of the style of football they play. It's a very physical downhill running game. It really is. Bill Callahan's the offensive line coach. One of the all-time great offensive line coaches in the NFL. So what they've done is they've put this style of football into play. Well, guess what? They're going to match it. Jim Harbaugh believes in what? running the football as well. To me, the difference is going to come down to the quarterback, Justin Herbert. That's the difference. I mean,
He's playing great.
he is.
He's playing great.
And that, to me, is the difference maker. This game can go one way or the other. It really can. If it's a downhill physical and Coach Harbaugh wants to play that way as well, you're going to have excuse me for saying, but an old-fashioned smash mouth football game.
Yep.
They're going to play downhill. They're going to play at each other. There's going to be a whole bunch of 3-and-outs, or there's going to be a whole bunch of 10, 12, 14-play drives because they've run the ball so successfully against each other.
Yeah.
I mean, this game is going to be a really physical, tough game.
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
I love how
Dan.
you said excuse me and then didn't curse.
I know. I was waiting. It's just a different word. We're just so desensitized. I'm like, where is that coming from?
Yeah.
Okay, Dan. The Jets at the Cardinals. The Jets -1.
I like the Jets here. No disrespect to the Cardinals, they're a good football team. They are probably the one surprise, I would say, preseason where I didn't think they were going to be good, and they are sitting here now at the top of the NFC West. I think it's just a hungry dogs run faster kind of game where the Jets need this. The other thing is Aaron Rodgers has had moments where he's looked old, and it's under pressure, and he doesn't have the elusiveness that he used to have. He can't move around in the pocket like he used to. The Cardinals are not great rushing the passer. They were last week because the Bears are a joke. But overall, they have not rushed the passer at an elite level this year. So I think Aaron Rodgers will have more time. And I just think the Jets, they're at the part of the season where the way they started, every game is a must-win. So you get that urgency that you need on the road. I like the Jets.
Will?
I like the Jets too. The only thing that makes me nervous is, the way that the Cardinals were able to get after Caleb. But I like the Jets here.
Coach?
To me, Arizona is really about Kyler. How he's playing, what he's doing helps them. When he takes a lead, they get a nice lead. You see how much better Arizona's defense is because they're playing with a lead. Their ears are going back and they're rushing. They're getting after the quarterback. Arizona also runs the ball very well.
They do.
They've
James
got
Conner.
Yes, and he's one of the elite backs in this game. But you know what else helps? Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
When Kyler Murray runs, and this is one of the things that I found through analytics.
Yeah.
Teams that run the ball well, and then the quarterback adds to that, they win a lot more games. Why? Because the quarterback is extending plays downfield, getting big plays, when they throw the ball, but also when they hold the ball and those DBs start to drift back and the linebackers drift back, the quarterback tucks and runs and picks up 8 to 15 yards on the average. So again, these things are happening, and they're happening with Arizona. That's what makes them very dangerous because of the quarterback, in my opinion.
It's a great point how much a running quarterback can help the running back because, all your linebackers are sitting there we got two guys we got to worry about running the football here.
Especially when they're playing with a hot hand.
Yeah,
then you see him take off and you're thinking, oh, shit.
They moved, Joe Flacco, Anthony Richardson switch. I understand it because Joe Flacco's a better quarterback than Anthony Richardson, but I think that does weirdly hurt Jonathan Taylor because Anthony Richardson was able to open up some holes for Jonathan Taylor where you have that dual threat.
Especially the backside cutback.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Eagles at the Cowboys -7. But, Coach, I want to start with you on this because we obviously saw Dak get hurt last week. He goes viral for being on the sidelines saying they suck. Everybody's talking about the mess in Dallas. As a coach, when you know somebody like Dak Prescott who has that locker room, you see him go down, potentially going on the IR. What does that do in that locker room for this team?
It can be tough. It really can. But your approach as a coach has to be, this has got to be the next man up mentality. That's why you're here. You've got to go out, Cooper, and play football. You got to play your best football. You did it for us before in the past. You can do it for us again. Let's focus in on everybody rallying around Cooper. It's not all just about what he can do in every play. It's what everybody does together. Let's rise each other. Let's raise each other up. Let's rise above this all. And let's go out and play some good football.
Yeah.
So him saying, we suck on the sidelines, you think that was just a camera just catching at the locker room that won't matter?
He's not wrong.
Yeah, no, it's not wrong.
I don't think it matters. I really don't. I think what it was an expression of where we are right now. We got to turn this around. I mean, you can look at it two ways. If you're in that locker room and you want to be disparaging, you can bring it up. Or if you're in this locker room and you want to be supportive, hey, let's roll. I mean, right now they are in a very interesting situation. I mean, they can go out and they can lay an egg. And if they do, then you can really go, wow, they've quit.
Yeah.
But if they go out and they rally around each other and look at the opportunity they have, and again, this to me is an opportunity to go out and win a football game, get some momentum and go forward. You have to have this type of mentality this time of year. This is where the teams that are contend, they start to rise. The teams that aren't, they're going to start to kind of shrink and shrivel and disappear.
Yeah.
This is a chance to rise up. These next 4 games are about as important as any other games in this part of the year. People talk about you play each season per quarter. It used to be perfect.
Lovey.
Yeah, exactly. Let me say that, and we bought in. We believed in it. We would go through, and we could be 1-3 or 2-2, and Lovey goes, all right, hey, the tough part's done. Let's go. Let's roll. Next thing you know, we're 3-1 or 4-0, and we're going, all right, we're right where we need to be. Let's go out and let's win this one. You focus in on certain things. If you look at how far you have to go, you go, oh God, that's a long way to go. But if you shorten it and you make these little goals a little tighter, it's like, man, we can accomplish these one at a time. This is great. Let's roll.
Yeah.
So Dan, when do you look at the spread though? Does that?
No, yeah. I mean, everything Coach said there makes a lot of sense. So it's basically, and he's right. Like this is a game where it's like, it's a fork in the road for the Cowboys. Like quit or rally. I'm gonna go they quit. I don't know. It might be wrong. I am. I'm gonna go they quit. I just don't think the vibes are great there. The Eagles are starting to play like that roster should play. And the big thing in this game is the Cowboys have not been able to stop the run. The Eagles are just a man football team when they want to be. And they'll pound the rock as many times as they want with Saquon Barkley. And I think that opens up everything where I just think it's a physical game. The Eagles can almost push on the Cowboys, and that's where the quit comes in.
No, I agree with Dan 1,000%. I feel like the way that the Eagles are really finding their stride in the run game, and Coach, they have that kind of gap scheme, zone read quarterback. Why is he?
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts. He's running the football well with Saquon. Obviously, they have the alien back there looking like a Ninja Turtle jumping over guys making plays. But the way that the outfit of the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line matches up against just kind of you got a lot of backups in, the guys that have been hurt on the year that are on IR with the Cowboys. You're going to see a lot of cover 3 with Coach Zimmer. I feel like the way that they're able to lean on you in those gap schemes, double you to the next level, they're going to push the pile. Obviously, being in the cover 3, they're going to be pulling the trigger, trying to get guys off. But I just think the Eagles are too good, and they're gaining a lot of steam and momentum in the run game to where I like the Eagles. I like the Eagles a lot.
Okay, I'm going to throw some analytics at you. You're going to love them.
Yes.
Okay, right
Love
now,
that.
Dallas. Okay, as an offense, they're rushing. They only average about 75 yards a carry. I mean, a game. That's not. You're not going to win football games that way as an offense because your play action doesn't become realistic. Okay, that's tough. They got to go out and be successful running the ball. That means the offensive line's got to hunker in there, drive people off the ball, possess the ball, hold the ball. Do those types of things to give yourself a chance to win a football game. Defensively, they're not very good stopping the run.
Yeah.
They're not very good. And that's one of the things that they've got to worry about. Again, top leading rushers in the league, okay? 4 of the 5 are all on winning teams, okay? Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Jordan Mason, Josh Jacobs, Chuba Hubbard. Okay? Top 5 leading rushing teams, okay? Ravens, Commanders, 49ers, Packers, Eagles. What do they all have also?
Yeah.
What's the one thing you just mentioned they have? They have a quarterback that adds to that running game.
Yep.
And that's what makes them so dangerous.
Yeah.
Hurts is a guy that makes them dangerous. They open up certain things. The threat of him possibly keeping the football and running outside slows that defensive end down.
Yeah.
Okay? And what does Saquon have? Tremendous vision for that cutback. And when he squares those shoulders up and gets downhill, he is tough to bring down. He's either going through you, around you, or over you. Take
backwards.
your pick.
Yeah, I love that running the football is back in the NFL.
Yeah.
It is. It's just the best teams. Is a great point. The best teams are running the football. You even see the Chiefs. Andy Reid notoriously is a pass-first guy. They run the ball.
Yes, they do.
And when you want to run the ball and you can run the ball, it's tough to beat. It's tough to beat.
Run the damn ball.
Yeah.
All right, Monday Night Football, Dan. The Dolphins at the Rams. The Rams -1.
This game makes no sense to me in terms of a line. I'm taking
Right?
the Rams. Yeah, I still can't figure it out.
This one's weird.
I think the Rams are better than the Dolphins. Tua coming back obviously has changed. Like the Dolphins are playing a lot better. He's been playing a lot better. They just have find a way to make mistakes late in games. And Matthew Stafford, man, he is so good. What he did in that overtime against the Seahawks.
Right.
I said it 5 years ago. I was like, this guy's gonna be a Hall of Famer, and now he's a Hall of Famer. Like it's just. And I think with all their weapons coming back, they have a young defense that's starting to round into form a little bit. I'm going to take the Rams.
They have
Makes no
momentum
sense.
too because the NFC West is wide open.
Yeah.
You were saying it earlier with one of the teams, but it's one game at a time. The division is wide open for everybody. Miami, I mean, they're 2-6. They're kind of fighting at the bottom with the Jets and the Patriots. But it's like I just don't see the line is confusing because in my head I'm thinking, What makes people believe that they're going to fly across country and take on a motivated Rams team right now, and ultimately with a pick'em game? So I'm going with the Rams.
Coach, what do you think about the matchup?
Well, what I like about the matchup is Tua's back. I mean, I'm concerned. Hopefully he doesn't have another concussion, but he makes a big difference for that football team. He really does. And last week, his first week back, you saw him play. You saw some steady things happening. They had a chance. They had an opportunity at times. I think he's going to help the defense as well. They'll get better because he's on the football field. I think, again, they got some opportunities. They've still run the ball very well. They really do. Defensively, they're very active. They make things happen. They're ranked very high as a defense as well. They're a good team. I think they have a chance. Now, having said that, I did the Rams game when Cooper and Puka were both back and looked at the energy that was infused by those guys. Oh, my God. The running game, they're only averaging 97 yards rushing a game right now. But with those two guys back, this is a different football team. It really is. And what it's done is given Matthew Stafford some targets to throw the ball to, but also what it does is those two big wide receivers block.
Yeah.
They get in and they mix it up.
And the other thing that it does is you've seen it in the last few games, when you have your two studs back, the third and fourth receiver, they're now playing a matchup that they can win.
Correct.
Like the Demarcus Robinson caught the game-winning touchdown, where it's like he's got one-on-one against the third cornerback.
Yes.
That's now changed how you can play the game.
It does. But one thing that was mentioned, and you brought it up, was their defense is playing better. They're very opportunistic. They're taking the ball away now. Early on, they weren't taking it away. Now they're taking it away. You're seeing 2-3 takeaways a game.
Yeah.
This team, I think, is surging. This team is heading in the right direction.
And they're young. You got Fisk, Verse. Like they're getting after it.
And they're getting after the quarterback as well. Yes.
Okay, Dan, it's time for hot takes. Do you have a Week 10 hot take?
I do. We alluded to it. I think Saquon Barkley. So Derrick Henry obviously has been the story. His season has been incredible. He's over 1,000 yards already. Saquon Barkley's not too far behind. He's at like 925. I think Saquon Barkley's going to go for 200 against the Cowboys. And we're going to start saying Saquon Barkley 2,000-yard watch. I think that's
I like that.
And no offense to Derrick Henry, but Derrick Henry's been the story in the running backs. Saquon's numbers are right there.
Right.
And I think the Eagles have already had a bye and the Ravens haven't. So I think this is the week where we're like, ooh, Saquon, look at this. He might get 2,000 yards.
Sneaky season.
You got a silent wow from Coach when you said
No,
that.
I mean, again, I know Dallas has struggled defensively, but at some point, pride's going to step into it as well. I mean, the coordinator's pride, the player's pride. You can't let a guy go for 200. You just can't.
They might.
I'll tell you, I was on a defense. I was a coordinator of a defense at one time that gave up 200. And
who'd you give up 200 to?
Peterson.
Adrian Peterson.
AP got us.
Yeah.
We went.
That was rookie AP, right?
No, that's when I was with the Chargers.
Okay.
We went there and played them there.
Angry.
And he went berserk.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, where'd he go over there?
Yeah, he had those games. Yeah.
And there was nothing you could do to stop it.
Nope.
No, it was one of those things that, no matter what we did, he caught us in the perfect defense for the cutback.
Yeah.
Or he pressed the hole. Linebackers overflowed. We got cut off in the front, and all of a sudden there was this crease, and now he's on the corner, and the corner's got to make a tackle with a full head of steam. That wasn't happening.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Will, you got a hot take?
I'm going to say the Broncos win by 10.
Whoa. Oh, God. Well.
It's a lot. 2-score game.
That's why it's a hot
Broncos
take.
shocked the world. Hot take.
He
Broncos
did drink a fireball shot.
Yeah,
That is
Broncos
true.
shocked the
So everyone
world.
knows.
Yeah.
Win by 10.
Forget, he's a little bit under
Whoa.
the influence, responsible.
That's a crazy one.
It's crazy.
I mean, Saquon 200
There's
yards
been
is kind of
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah,
200 yards is hard to do.
Yeah.
Coach, do you have any crazy takes, or you just want to let the boys give crazy takes?
Not necessarily. I mean, I think
You're a rational guy. That's
I am. I mean, I look at it, and I mean, 200 is an awful lot.
That's a lot.
Somewhere along the line, you got to draw the line in the sand as a defense. You're expecting Kansas City to have a letdown. You're expecting Denver to pick it up. Denver at one point was competitive in that first quarter against Baltimore. Can they play like that for 4 quarters against Kansas City? That'll be interesting to see.
You were talking about Herbert with the Chargers Titans. Let's say Herbert 300 yards in the air, because the Titans will probably do a good job shutting down the run.
Yeah, I like that. I like that as well.
Lots of crazy takes.
Yeah, a lot of crazy takes.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Crazy takes.
That's what we do. Okay, let's move to the Survivor pool picks. Dan, you were eliminated. You
Out.
still have 1 point.
Saints.
So Will, Jerry, and then I'll be picking for the guest chair. We're all in. Jerry, I'll let you go first.
Kayce, can you refresh my memory? What teams can't I
You
use?
cannot take the Vikings, the Chargers, the Bucks, the 49ers, the Jags, the Eagles, the Bills, or the Jets. This is where Will and the guest seat have an advantage.
Wow, yeah, because I have so many. I'll take the Bears.
Bears? Okay.
You're going Bears?
Yeah.
He doesn't have a whole
don't
lot
have
left
lots
in
to pick. No, he
comparison.
doesn't have a whole
Will,
lot left.
you can't take the Bengals, the Titans, or the Jets, or the Bills.
I'll go Niners.
You're going Niners?
Give me Niners.
I like
Okay,
Niners.
and then the guest chair can't take the Bengals, the 49ers, the Jets, or the Commanders. I'm going to take the Chargers.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to take the Chargers.
Good picks. Good picks.
Okay.
I got a question for you. How did you guys, Luke Kuechly, legend.
Yeah.
How were you guys monitoring everything concussion-wise when he was going through his stuff with the head injuries?
One of the things that we really tried to pay attention to was the way we practiced. Okay, and really just kind of watching guys constantly. And then once you get into game time, you've got to be really observant. You got to pay attention to those things. Some guys, you'll see it right away, and hey, let's just get them over here, just check them. I mean, our doctors in Carolina, when I was there, I thought they did a really nice job trying to stay on top of things.
Yeah.
How often would you ultimately have to save him from himself?
I think there were a couple times where, it was, hey, come on, we can't have you out there. I mean, he wanted to be out there so bad. He was, and he was a team guy. It was all about him. And, ultimately, I think there was a certain point also when he decided it was time to hang him up because, again, he's one of those guys that's very rational about it. Mm-hmm. And I think he understood at the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you have, when you were in the league, did you have a Luke Kuechly poster on your bedroom wall?
No. I wish I would have. That's just because I didn't go out and buy one.
Yeah.
But yeah, very much Luke was he was the standard.
He's a dog,
He was everything I wanted
I'll
to be.
tell you a great little story about Luke and how committed he was to working. So Luke's parents were from Ohio. It was Christmas Eve. They weren't coming in until the next day. So it's Christmas Eve, like I typically did as I was working. I would go downstairs, make sure everything's turned off. It was really just a chance for me to take a break. So I go down there, I'm going through the rooms and turning off projectors and stuff like that. And I hear this noise coming from the linebacker room. I walk in and there's Luke. He's watching tape. Christmas Eve. I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm watching tape. I said, well, go home to the family. He said, I got plenty of time. I said, what do you mean? Well, I think I'll be here till tomorrow. I said, Luke, go home. Come on. He said, well, I got a little bit more to watch. I said, I'm coming back in an hour. Okay? So if you're still here, you and I are going to have trouble. So I went back upstairs. I set alarm. Alarm goes off. I go downstairs, and I'm going downstairs. As I open the door to the hallway, I hear the door close on the other side.
Oh, that's perfect.
Okay? So I walk up. I open the linebacker room, and the projector's off. So I went up and put my finger on the lens, and I burned my finger.
Because he had just
turned it off.
He set that same alarm that you did.
Yeah.
That was him.
That's great.
Legend.
All right, anything else?
No, great to have you.
great.
Phenomenal.
That was
So much
awesome.
fun.
That was
The-
awesome.
the
The
fact-
stand-up was just
I mean,
incredible to
And he
start.
stood forever.
We all thought Coach, we've done this for many years. We've never had a coach you just bullied.
Popped
Dan.
right up. It was
Popped
great.
It was fantastic.
Laptop, notebook, and he pulls out his
Popped
backpack,
up.
bunch
Yeah,
of
got
cards.
more notes for
Hey,
you.
and as he's going through them, you see,
Yeah.
No, I said this before. Coach and I were talking before you guys got in here. He went through a game that he played against A&M in '83 and knew every single play and every single sequence.
love
I was
it.
like, that's a
Football guy
true
through and
football
through.
guy.
Yeah.
Through. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
being
guys.
here.
This was fun. I enjoyed myself.
Of course, go follow us on our Pro Football Show handles. You'll get all the behind the scenes, all the great clips, and we will be back next week.